Fall here in the capital city, assuming, of course, we get through the rest of the day dry. Welcome again to the Wednesday show. We have a really good show planned out for you with a lot to talk about in the weather world. In particular, the cold temperatures that are going to be on their way. We have a stationary front currently draped over the Tallahassee area. We'll have Jordan out at the wall later with a more detailed look at that. You know he loves my surface maps. And, of course, with this comes our coolest temperatures of the season, dropping down into potentially the 20s. By Friday night, yes, you heard it, the 20s. Light freezes are possible across much of the area away from the coast with this, so we'll have to keep that in mind in terms of crops. And, of course, we're also going to be talking about the drought situation and how the rainfall event of the last couple of days has improved that. We actually had a quick little sneak peek at next week's drought monitor, which will be revealed tomorrow, of course. And with that, the situation in Florida has improved markedly. A little bit more work to go, of course. Up to our north and even in the Florida panhandle, but regardless, we could be looking at a pretty good situation with some more rain on the way for Sunday and Monday. For now, I'm going to head out to the wall to give you a really detailed look at what's going on weather-wise. We start off with the weather stem camera, and this is from yesterday. So what you're seeing right now is yesterday afternoon situation, how things really started to clear their way out after the rain showers moved out in the early morning hours. It's going to reset here for you in just a little bit, and with that is when you'll be seeing all the rain showers moving their way in the morning. See, it's reset just about now. Some big-time rain moving its way through. Today's high temperatures across the area, 63 degrees in Tallahassee. That cloud deck that was over us for much of the day failed to fizzle out, so that's why those temperatures stayed a little bit further down than what many had expected. 61 degrees in Thomasville. And off to the south, there was a little bit less cloud activity, so you see the temperatures getting up quite a bit higher, 73 Perry and 70 degrees down in Apalachicola. Here's your satellite and radar look across the area, and not really much to be aware of here. Some clouds over central Florida right now, but other than a few high clouds that have fizzled out over the last couple of hours, our immediate area is looking very good for the really the next 48 hours ahead. Tonight's forecast, we're looking at 45 degrees on your nighttime low, partly cloudy skies, and of course we have the front pretty close to our area right now, which is going to be pushing its way through tomorrow. Winds are out of the west-northwest at 5 miles per hour, and we'll have a little bit more detailed of a look at how those winds are going to be shifting over the next 36 hours. For the weather headlines, the lows are going to be around average tonight. A cold front, of course, is on the way, and with that, we could be looking at temperatures down into the 20s potentially by Friday night, so looking like quite the interesting weather picture ahead. Now I'm going to take it back to the desk where Jordan and Dylan are standing by.
Thanks so much, Jake, for that. But for now, I believe we are going to talk about some sneak previews,
yes.
Are we not?
Jake let us in with the information about the sneak preview for the drought monitor.
Yes.
We're going to see improving conditions in the drought monitor released tomorrow. That's because of that front that came through.
Yes, multiple fronts, actually. As they moved through the region, we had a lot of that crazy rain over the past couple of days, which was much needed, especially throughout much of the southeast, even kind of suppressing those wildfires up in Tennessee and Georgia.
Definitely. It improved in Atlanta, too. We're going to see that redness that you're going to see on your local graphic. It's going to disappear from Florida in tomorrow's graph. That's what they're supposing. We also see Lake Lanier by Atlanta that drains into Florida improving, too. Those lake levels are definitely going to happen.
Wow, that's amazing. And how much rain have we had throughout this whole region?
It's been a lot of rain. You're gonna show us that rain coming up.
Yes,
you're gonna take it out to the wall with a local look right now.
Yes, I am. Thanks so much for that. Right now, we're looking a little bit chilly compared to yesterday. Certainly not a lot of cloud cover as we have had over the past couple of days. Right now, we're sitting pretty about 61 degrees under partly cloudy skies. The dew point and humidity is a little bit high for this time of year, but don't worry, we do have that front pushing its way through our region later into the next coming days, so we will start to see it dry off a bit more. Winds out of the northwest about 3 miles per hour, so it's a shift from what we had a few days ago out of the south, so less moisture coming up from the Gulf and more of that dry continental air that we have pushing in from the northwest. Right now, here's our current temperatures around the Big Bend. Starting to cool off as you head up north. Right now, 61 here in Tallahassee, 57 up in Monticello, 59 in Thomasville, and 59 in Bainbridge. But as you head down towards the coast, Carabelle's about 65 degrees, and Apalachicola at about 62 degrees down there. So temperature variations are prevalent throughout this area. What isn't very prevalent are the dew points. They're pretty uniform throughout most of the region. 53 in here in Tallahassee, 55 in St. Mark's, and 59 in Carabelle down by the coast where they do have more moisture associated with being by the ocean. Here's the wind map around the Big Bend. We have that northwesterly flow just pushing all this continental dry air towards our region, dropping our dew points and humidities significantly over the next coming days. 3 miles per hour out of Tallahassee, 3 out of Thomasville, 5 out in Bainbridge, and about 5 in Apalachicola as well. Here's going to be our surface maps, courtesy of Jake. Right now, we have a stationary front sitting above our region. It's stalled for now, and it is because we aren't going to have a lot of conditions where we are going to see that front move through in the next coming days. And this is located with that low pressure system, so as it rotates in that counterclockwise direction, we do have this northwesterly winds that's dominating our region now. It's stalled for now, but in the next coming days, it should move out of our region, being pushed by this low pressure system, and here comes the cold air. We are going to start to see even maybe some 20s hit into our forecast. Here's our futurecast looking pretty clear as we head into Wednesday night, into Thursday morning. A couple of spotty clouds is very possible as this front will start to push a little bit of moisture out of our way, but no rain associated with that front. By Friday morning, when you wake up, it should be nice and clear, but very chilly as well, so you might want to grab that jacket. For tonight, that jacket is also going to be needed as well. 45 degrees tonight under partly cloudy skies, and that cold front will start to approach. As we head into tomorrow, 64 under mostly sunny skies, so that cooling trend will continue. You want to know what to wear for the rest of the week? It's going to start to get colder and colder, so very nice tomorrow. By Friday, you want to bundle up, and by Saturday, jacket all day. We're going to have that cold blast, some highs up into the 50s. And here's that 5-day forecast. Thursday, 64, clear skies by Friday, and 55 for the high. Saturday, though, you're going to wake up, and 20s are quite possible in the forecast. Isn't that right, Jake?
Absolutely, Jordan. The cool temperatures moving their way into the rest of the southeast as well. We're going to take a broader view of what's going on, starting with the current temperatures across the area. 56 degrees in Montgomery, 54 Atlanta, 45 up in Huntsville, the top of Alabama. Starting to drop into the 40s. We can see some 30s in areas like that later on tonight. So the cool down is beginning across the whole southeast, except for, of course, South Florida. The current relative humidities are pretty high across really the entire area. 79% Miami, 94 Key West, 75 Tallahassee as well. And we're going to look now at the 24-hour temperature change. You're going to see the effects of this front in terms of how the temperatures have dropped relative to this time yesterday. The 8-degree drop in Tallahassee is actually mostly the result of the cloud cover that we've had across our area for most of the day today. 12 degrees cooler in Savannah, and you're going to see these numbers really continuing once we get towards Friday and Saturday. So be on the lookout for that, of course. Always one of the more exciting things we put out here. The current winds are largely out of the north, so you see 7 miles an hour out of the northwest in Montgomery, 3 Tupelo. Some fairly light winds across really the whole southeast. However, the northerly component bringing in some of that cooler air as we were alluding to just a little bit earlier. So again, another recurring trend as we go through the next couple of days. The radar's looking very quiet. You see the stationary front that brought us all that rainfall the other day is now over the Florida Keys. So a little bit of clouds and a little bit of shower activity trying to impact the southernmost tip of Florida. However, other than that, really nothing to speak of in terms of rainfall except for a little bit of cloud activity over in Arkansas and Louisiana. Now here's the watches, warnings, and advisories we have right here for you. The small craft advisories extending from just about the Destin area off through southern Louisiana past New Orleans, and some flood warnings in some of the rivers in Louisiana and Texas as well. Plenty of rainfall over the last couple of days in those areas. Otherwise, looking pretty good. Once the front makes its way through Tallahassee, we could be looking at small craft advisories right in our coastal waters. So again, you'll want to keep an eye out for that. Here's the drought situation. This is as of about last week here, and we're going to, again, have the new one out for you tomorrow, as they were alluding to on the desk. So a bit of an improved situation. However, there is still work to be done here. Most of Georgia and Alabama are in extreme drought situations, some even in that Category 4 exceptional drought. You'll see the area by Atlanta tomorrow is going to be looking just a little bit better, which is very good news. However, we still need rain, and we still need plenty of it. Here's the dew point futurecast for you, and here is the effects of the front really dropping that moisture content. Once we get it our way into Thursday morning, you'll see some 20s, even some teens up to the north. Tonight's forecast, 47 Tallahassee, 58 Orlando, 72 degrees down in Miami, 76 in Key West. You know how stubborn those South Floridians are. Tomorrow's forecast, 68 degrees in Savannah, 66 Tallahassee, partly cloudy skies really sticking around. The only place really seeing too much in terms of rainfall is the South Florida areas, 83 degrees in Miami with scattered thunderstorms in the forecast. Now it's back to Jordan with a look at the desk.
Thanks so much, Jake. We're going to start talking about what happened today in history, and there's a little bit of a mix about what happened this day. We had lots of severe flooding back in 1935 that hit the area of Texas. About 8 people were killed as 100 city blocks were inundated. Reported about 17 inches of rain hitting their region. As Jake was alluding to earlier, how we have those drought conditions, this certainly fixed them back in 1935 if there were any over in Texas. Heavy rain fell across eastern Puerto Rico with about 19.5 inches back in 1987. Again, significant. Here in Tallahassee, we expect, especially during the months of November and December, about 4 inches of rain. So having about 19 inches in one day, that's absolutely incredible. Caused major property damage and even caused a couple of fatalities. Back in 1988, an outbreak of cold Arctic air brought 18 inches of snow up in the Colorado Rockies. I'll have some more later on the National about the current blizzard situation that we have up in the Dakotas and Michigan, where we do have lots of snow associated with a low pressure system and even a couple of blizzard warnings out for them. So that's it for now for this day in history. For now, we're going to send it back to the wall where we have Dylan standing by with our outdoors and events going on around campus. Dylan, what do you have for us?
Thank you very much, Jordan. We're going to take a look at Georgia Tech right now at Bobby Dodd Stadium. The high yesterday was 52. The high today was 57. So it's getting warmer, but you can see that rain on that camera, on the weather stem camera. As we look into Thursday night football, get ready for Thursday night football as the Chiefs take on the Oakland Raiders in what could be one of the greatest NFC playoff matches that isn't actually in the NFC right now. This is a great lead-in. If you're playing fantasy, make sure you start those players because last week I started Dak Prescott and I did not mean to do that. So be aware of what you're doing because fantasy football is tomorrow. If you're going to the beach on a Thursday before finals week, be prepared. That UV index is at an 8 with a high wind of 10 to 15 miles from the north. That's signifying that that front's coming through and a light surf. But what does that UV index mean? We're going to look at an 8. So 8 is very high risk. You want to lather up on that sunscreen. You don't want to get burnt. You don't want anything to happen to you. You just want to be prepared and be ready for that sun. If you're going boating tomorrow, which is also a strange thing to do before finals week, but if you're not a student, maybe you have the time, advisories might be possible late at night. If you're going some late night boating, be careful, be aware, check in with family members just to be safe, but that means that there's a moderate chop. That's because of that front coming through, bringing in a lot of wind associated with it, and just be prepared for that chop. Going golfing like Jake is going on this weekend, it's going to be 4 out of 5 tomorrow. Great day to go golfing, mostly sunny skies, bit cool and breezy, but again, that wind associated with that front is coming. If you're going to women's basketball tomorrow against UF, I'm excited. It's a big rivalry we have. Women's basketball has been doing great this year. It's going to be a nice commute, 59 degrees as you commute, so you might need a jacket going to the game, but as you come back, you might also need a bigger jacket if you're cold and can't deal with the temperatures like I am. What else is going on around campus? We have all their basketball games. We have a doubleheader, again, with that UF game with the women's team. The men's team take on Nicholas State after destroying Southern Miss yesterday in a 98-49 win. We also have volleyball on Friday at 5:30. And again, if you need a break from finals that's coming up, men's basketball against UF at Sunday at 4. So be sure to get your tickets because those might go already. As we look into the 5-day forecast, we're going to see, starting off the week, with cooling temperatures down because of that cold front coming through. Starting off at 64 as the high, 54 as the low. But as we move into Friday, when that cold front comes through tomorrow, we're going to see those temperatures drop, low being in 37, high at 55. And then Saturday, here's where the cold starts coming in. If you're cold, you can't handle the cold like me, we're going to see a low of 29 when you wake up in the morning and a high of 56. As we see into the later in the weekend, we're going to see another front approach and bring in some slight chances of rain. It's going to come through Sunday and into Monday and bring higher chances of rain. Now let's give it to Jordan for a national look.
Thanks so much, Dylan. Let's go ahead and go right into our current conditions that we have around the nation today. We start to see that a lot of the nation is pretty cold. especially this time of year. It is December. Here in Florida, it doesn't really feel like that, though. If you're heading over to Kansas City, about 26 degrees right now under mostly cloudy skies. Minneapolis, 19 degrees. However, it is raining. I think that is supposed to be snow because 19 degrees is well below the freezing level. Denver is going to be 9 degrees right now out there in the mountains of Colorado, and Billings is also 11 degrees right now. So very cold as you head out throughout much of the nation. We're even hotter than some of the deserts. Dallas about 50 degrees, San Antonio about 57, but Miami being the only hot spot, even compared to the deserts, at about 80 degrees right now. Here's our water vapor map. We do have that stationary front located just right above Tallahassee right now and stretching throughout much of the Gulf Coast. And we do see that associated with this dry air, and that is going to bring a lot drier air into our region as we go into the next coming days, and certainly going to dip down our temperatures a lot as well. Here's that low pressure system just above the Great Lakes. You can see that counterclockwise rotation and bringing lots of moisture into the regions of North Dakota, South Dakota, and even Minnesota, bringing lots of blizzard conditions over into there. Here's our 24-hour temperature change around the nation right now. Not too much activity into the East Coast. New Orleans about +4 from yesterday, -5 in Atlanta from yesterday, and +4 in D.C. The biggest spots are going to be out into the Midwest. Denver has seen a 16-degree difference as they did this time yesterday. Kansas City about 7, and Minneapolis about a 4-degree difference, so a lot colder over there. Here's our great surface map, the National Satellite and Radar. We see that stationary front system that will start to push out of our region and bring us much cooler temperatures. But you also see this high pressure system pushing this cold front from the East Coast farther out, pushing all that moisture out with it. But there's that big low pressure system sitting just above the Great Lakes into southern Canada, and it's bringing lots of our snow activity into the Dakotas and Minnesota as well. As we head on into the watches, warnings, and advisories, lots of them out there. It looks like a massive coloring book. We have lots of gale warnings down into the southeast, and we also have small craft advisories associated with that as well. So if you are going to go boating, please be careful. Here's our main story. We do have lots of freeze watches, warnings, and even some blizzard warnings up in North Dakota. So if you do have family members up there, be sure to warn them about that. Make sure that they're safe. Plenty of snow all around. Here's our view of Kansas, Colorado, and Iowa. We have lots of snow over there into their region. As we head off to the East Coast as well, start to see a little bit of snow activity as well, just associated with that cold front, but it will start to push out of the region, so we should start to see that snow start to move out of the region just for now. Airport delays, none to speak about right now. It looks nice and clear, especially for the biggest airports around our nation, so that's good to see. Futurecast radar, I'll put this into motion for you. You do start to see that snow dipping down farther south, and the Great Lakes are going to start to see a large increase in snow over the next coming days, and possibly even some lake effect snow as we go later into the next coming week. Not much else, though. The Rockies are starting to see a little bit more snow, but that is going to stay there for quite some time. Here's our jet stream outlook. Right now we have that blizzard condition right here in the Dakotas. I'll put this into motion for you, and you start to see just as this jet stream moves out to the east, the storm will move with it. So we start to see those Great Lakes being affected and lots of lake effect snow over there. So you do have family members out there. Be sure to call them, let them know to warn them about that. Tonight's forecast around the nation, going to dip down pretty cold. Billings, -10 degrees is their low for tonight. Denver, -5 degrees. Kansas City, 11, and Minneapolis, 16. 30 in Memphis, so very cold throughout much of the nation. Tomorrow, Billings still being the cold spot, 1 degree is their temperature for tomorrow. Denver about 19 degrees, Kansas City at about 23 as well. But for now, we're going to take it off to the desk where Jake is standing by.
Thanks a lot, Jordan. Needless to say, I'm not going to be missing the whole 1 degree thing too much, being a northern guy myself. So we will live it up with the 50s and 60s as much as we can take it here. And those temperatures have really come a long way. And I guess what I wanted to do at this desk is we debuted here 3 months ago, of course, after having covered Hurricane Hermine, of course. That was quite a fun experience for all of us involved, although the storm was quite the pain. Really, this experience, having produced these shows and having thrown together those lovely service maps that Jordan seems to adore oh so much, has really been one of the most rewarding experiences that I've had here working with FSU Weather for the last year or so. So really, I just wanted to take this opportunity to, as we wrap things up in the fall term, 2 more shows for you, to really thank everybody who has helped me out on this journey, everybody who got me on the way here, and of course everybody helping out with tonight's broadcast as well. Jordan being one of them, doing my time cues right now. We got one more semester, of course, to go. Our spring shows will be debuting on January 17th, going to be a Tuesday, of course, right after the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And with that, it's going to be quite the fun ride as we move our way in towards spring term, and where a lot of us are going to be saying goodbye here. So now it's back out to the wall, and we're going to have Jordan standing by with a look at what's going on around the state of Florida.
Thanks so much, Jake. We've had a lot of rainfall in the past couple of days. Thank goodness, too, because we haven't had rain in about 44 days was that counter, right? But now it's only 1 day without rain since then. Here's rainfall since the past 48 hours as of Monday night. About 1.5 inches of rain here in Tallahassee. Just to the west, a lot more. Jacksonville, almost 2 inches of rain as well. Pensacola, about 1.4. But as you head farther into central and southern Florida, not much rain hit them because that front did start to fizzle out as it started to move into their region. Current conditions right now around Florida, 61 degrees here in Tallahassee under partly cloudy skies, 63 in Jacksonville. Starting to warm up as you head farther south, as usual for Florida, 73 in Orlando under nice clear skies, and 79 down in Key West under nice clear skies as well. Here's our dew point. It's the temperature at which dew forms. So the higher the dew point, the more moisture is in the atmosphere. Right now we're sitting pretty comfortable here in Tallahassee, 53 degrees right now, 60 in Jacksonville, starting to hit that uncomfortable region. West Palm Beach, about 70 degrees, so starting to feel a little bit sticky and a little bit icky as well as you head down there. But those dew points will start to drop later once the cold front moves through and brings much cooler weather. You can kind of spot the front with our current wind map. Right now we have northwesterly winds dominating much of the north and central parts of Florida. But just as you hit the cusp of central and southern Florida, we start to see a shift. It's more of an easterly flow of wind as you head into West Palm Beach and Miami, and that's driving a lot of their moisture, keeping their dew points very high. But as that stationary front does start to push through their region, we will start to see that wind shift to a more northeastern or northwesterly flow. Here's our water vapor map in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Very dry just above Tallahassee, especially since this morning, and that is due to that stationary front sitting mostly above our region. Miami still very wet down there, and that is due to their dew points being quite so high. Satellite and radar did have a couple of showers moving through southern Florida earlier today, and that was that same system that brought us those 2 inches of rain over the past 48 hours. Looking a lot less significant as you see, because it does start to fizzle out as it goes through lots of land. Futurecast radar, not much to point out here. I'll put this into motion for you. Over the next couple days, probably seeing a spotty shower here or there throughout most of central Florida, but not much into our region. This is Thursday at around 7 a.m., so no morning showers affecting any of your plans. As we head into Thursday night, just Miami expecting a couple showers or two, as well as the Keys, and that is completely normal for this time of year. By Friday morning, central and southern Florida starting to see a lot of rain hitting their region, but by Friday afternoon, that cold front has well pushed its way out of our region, and we are going to start to see much drier weather and drier conditions associated with that. Here's tonight's forecast. Going to be a bit of a chilly one, so be sure to bring a jacket if you're not used to this. 47 here in Tallahassee, 46 in Jacksonville. As you head farther south too, going to start to look warmer too. Here's Thursday's forecast, 66 in Tallahassee. And we're going to start to see West Palm Beach about 80 degrees, and Miami being the hot spot as per usual at about 83 degrees. But right now, I'm here with the desk with Dylan. What do we got going on?
We're going to talk about finals. I'm a freshman, and I have never experienced college finals. Can you tell me about your experience?
I will say you have to study a lot, and a lot of it is on your own. Right. Especially even if you do have a study group, I always recommend taking that study group, reserving a spot in the library, and studying with them, because you can always test each other. You probably learn different ways too. So you have your computer, you write things on the board, all that. So be sure to always study, and especially be sure to get some good sleep just before, especially if you have those early 7:30 a.m. exams.
Right. I luckily don't have. My earliest one is 10 o'clock and it's calculus, but I do have a Met 1010 exam, which is kind of ironic since I'm on the show as a freshman doing a meteorology final.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we certainly look forward to it, and I wish you all the best of luck, especially with these next coming exams. Yeah. But for now, we do have Jake standing by. He has a better look at our local.
Thanks a lot, guys. We start off with today's almanac, and we're seeing a pretty good picture around here in terms of the temperatures. A high of only 63 degrees, a little bit lower than what many had expected. A lot of our area was expected to crack about the 70-degree point, but those clouds really did hang around. Low at 51 degrees as we woke up this morning. A little bit below average on the high, but of course the low temperature still being stubborn above our 43-degree average, nowhere near record thresholds, of course. Here are the current temperatures, 50s and 60s really anywhere you look. 55 degrees in Monticello, 59 in Thomasville, 62 degrees in St. Mark's, so a little bit warmer by the water in contrast to what we're accustomed to seeing, given those behavior of those areas. A lot cooler than what we had at this time yesterday. Again, the consequence of those clouds. 11 degrees cooler in Valdosta, 9 degrees in Thomasville, 8 degrees cooler than we were 24 hours ago here in Tallahassee as we approach about 6:30 Eastern time here. The satellite and radar, very quiet. Nothing more than a few high clouds in the area at this point, so really anywhere you look, looking like a pretty good night ahead. Here's the Futurecast winds and temperatures, and the northerly winds are the big story here. As we get into Thursday, really starting to blow in harder, bringing a lot of that cold air after this cold front makes its way through the area. So Thursday, those daytime highs aren't even going to be cracking the 65-degree point in much of the area. As we get into Friday morning, even cooler, some 30s is going to be really the big story. Even some 20s as you go into parts of Georgia are a possibility, with winds coming straight out of the north as we get up on Friday morning. Highs not even cracking the 60-degree point Friday afternoon, setting up for one of the coolest nights we've had in quite some time once we get our way into Saturday morning. Tonight, though, 40s anywhere you look, 47 degrees in St. Mark's, 45 Monticello, 45 in Thomasville as well. Partly cloudy skies really anywhere you go. Winds are out of the west-northwest at 5 miles per hour, and tomorrow that shifts to being out of the north-northwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour. The cooling trend does continue with highs largely in the mid-60s here, 64 degrees in Tallahassee, 64 St. Mark's, 65 Thomasville. High spot being 67 degrees, of course, over in Perry. If you're going to be planning out your Thursday, just be aware for a bit of a chilly start. 47 degrees at 8 a.m. Some of the clouds lingering around, but a little bit clearer as you go into the later afternoon hours. Once the front makes its way through, the breeze really starting to kick up as well once we get into the afternoon, with those temperatures getting into the low to mid-60s. So looking like a very good day there. And the week ahead, we see Friday being the coolest day in terms of an afternoon high at 55 degrees. And then Friday night, as you get up Saturday morning, we got 20s in the forecast for you. 29 degrees as we get up here, with rain chances starting to creep their way back in for Monday as another weak cold front pushes its way towards our area. Daytime highs getting up into the lower 70s, and you're going to see Wednesday being another day where we have partly cloudy skies, and you never know if we see a stray shower or two. So now we're going to wrap things up back at the desk with Jordan and Dylan.
I love seeing those cooler temperatures up on the map, especially a relief from all this heat that we've been experiencing these past couple of days, even the past month in general.
Yeah, it's been really hot, really humid lately because of that front that passed through the other day.
Yes, we only had a couple of fall teases here and there, but this looks like a pretty good cool down, especially seeing those almanac records and how we're obviously really close to some of these record highs, especially last month and even into October. We hit records just constantly. We felt like, oh, a new record, here we go.
Right. Well, the other day I saw one of the record low, or the low for that day was higher than the record high.
Wow.
It was kind of crazy to think that it was so hot. It was hotter than it was cold.
Yeah, we've also seen over the past couple of days, we've seen where the average high was, even our regular low could not even reach that average high, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's been bad. But hey, if you want to learn more about the weather, check us out on social media at facebook.com/FSU Weather.
And of course, check us out on our Twitter page, twitter.com/FSU Weather. We're always tweeting things out about our weather information. And of course, you can always watch us anytime at livestream.com/FSU Weather.
But you got to put that Instagram some love. Follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather.
Yes, we're always taking photos, especially viewer photos, and they could be featured in the next show, so be sure to tune in for that.
Yeah, definitely. So have a good night, Tallahassee, and get ready for this cold front coming through.
Yes, be sure to bring a jacket and be sure to prepare for that. But for now, I'm Student Meteorologist Jordan Frazier.
I'm Student Meteorologist Dylan Leathe, and have a good night.